Okay, so now I'm going to show you the details on how to do that. Well, first of all, as I said, we need to use a MIDI logical editor. So that's in the MIDI menu here, say setup. And then you will find, well, you will create, first of all, you can create this command here, which will transform all the events here below 63. So basically all these events here, for instance, and transform them with a value of 0. And then we'll do the same with the upper values here and transform all of them to 127, which is the maximum value here. And then what we'll do, we'll create another one to remove all the redundant values that we've set to 127 or 0 to keep only one of each. So the first one is to transform the sustain pedal events with a value of 0 through 63 and set it to 0. So to do that, you create a new command. You say you select type equal to controller, and so you insert MIDI controller, which is value 1 equal to 64, and so that means that MIDI controller 64, which is a sustain pedal, will be detected here. All the events of the controller 64 events will be detected, and only for the events with a value less or equal to 63. And that's value 2 here that you will have to select. And so once you have selected the condition, you have to tell it what to do. And what you do is you tell it to set the value 2, which is a controller value, to a fixed value, which is 0. Don't forget to check transform here, and you're done for this particular command. And you'll do the same to create a command that will transform all the sustain pedal events with a value of 64 through 127 and set them to 127. So it's basically the same thing. The difference here is a MIDI controller value will have to be bigger or equal to 64. And again, you will set the value to 127, which is the maximum value. The other command that you will need that we will use in the macro will be to delete all the redundant on-off pedal events. On-off meaning either equal to 127 or to 0. So to do that, you have to actually define two conditions. So the first one here or the second one here. The first one is, well, you detected a sustain pedal event here, which is a controller 64, and if its value is equal to 0, and the last event which is a MIDI controller 64 with value of 0 will trigger the condition. Or you can trigger the condition, and that's what you use here, if the event you're checking is again a MIDI controller equal to 64 and with a value of 127, and the last event, which was using also a controller 64, which is a sustain pedal with a value of 127, will trigger the condition. So here you have triggered the conditions, and the action will not be a transform this time, it will be a delete. So in other words, you will delete those events. And again, that will delete all the redundant on-off pedal events. And finally, you will want also to create a command here that will delete at the end all the pedal events, which unfortunately the Cubase command doesn't do by itself. There's still one remaining event for some reason, I don't know why. So that's fairly easy. Again, you say if the event is a controller and it's controller 64, then you delete that event. So I think I can put I'll put links with the files. the corresponding file that you can put in the right folder on your computer. Otherwise, you can redo all this and it will work. You just don't forget to name them, because you're going to use those names in the macro. So for the macro, you go to the edit menu and you don't select macro, you select key commands here. And then you will show macro here. You can either hide them or show them. So you show macro and then you create a new one. You give it a name. I can't remember if you did beforehand or afterwards, but in any case, you will have to name it. And then what you do is you select all the command you need. So here, this is what we'll do. Again, we want to select all the events for that track. We want to use the command we just created, the one that transform sustained pedal events to 0, the one that transforms sustained pedal events to 27, then the one that deletes the redundant events. And then once you've done that, you can apply the Cubase command, which is in, I believe it's in MIDI functions menu. Then you use another command to delete the overlaps in case some notes overlap. Their duration overlaps. And then we use the last command that we created to delete all the pedal events. And then we use another Cubase command called show use controllers, so that it shows only the use controller. In that case, it will be just the velocity. And that's it. Once you've done that, you can again select. So the way you go to check, where those commands are. For instance, let's say the overlap command here. Well, what you do is you go here and you select, you type overlap, and then you check until you find here you go, delete overlaps mono. That's the one you want. And once you've done that, just select the macro and you say add command here by clicking here, and it will add it to the end of the list here. And then if you want to change the order, you can use the move down and move up, so that you can move down or move up the commands in the list here. And so you do that for everything. And then finally, you can assign a shortcut here. In my case was Alt Command P, but you can choose what you want. And you're done. And then what you can do is go here, click inside the window, and then use your shortcut. In my case, again, it's Alt Command P, and BIM. Everything is done in one keyboard touch. So that's neat. Okay, I hope that helps. Thank you for watching, and see you later.